Mr. Cuthbert by Richard Bunn. Chapter 7. Whilst Mr. Cuthbert was explaining all about nonsense to Nicholas, Mr. Ryan Tingle-Tangle was hiring some bruisers. A bruiser is a person who is tough and aggressive and likes to have a fight. Ryan Tingle-Tangle wanted some people like that to work for him. He liked shouting at everyone and being rude. Normally when he tried to do that, he got told off. But now he was the boss of the entire company, and he thought he should have some big bodyguards. "So," he said a little nervously to the huge man and woman who had answered his advert in the newspaper, "you both know how to have fights." "Fights?" sneered the woman, whose name was Sonia. "I was a boxing champion in the British Army. I'm as tough as a diamond and as mean as a rattlesnake. I can punch so hard it goes through concrete. I can crunch up your bones and swallow them up." "Great," said Ryan with a very nasty smile. "And what about you?" "Growled the man. He was also very big, with big hairy knuckles and very small eyes. He was eating a huge handful of lollipops that he had taken from Jack's desk. Jack always had lollipops in case anyone wanted one. The man wasn't taking the wrappers off. He was just eating them as well. "Bert doesn't talk," explained Sonia, "but he's very effective." Bert finished eating the lollipops and started eating a stapler that he'd also grabbed from Jack's desk. Ryan noticed that Bert's teeth were very broken. "Excellent," said Ryan. Just then there was a knock on the door. It was the chief scientist from the BloobyTech laboratory. Her name was Penelope. Excuse me, Ryan," said Penelope, looking nervously at the two bruisers. "It's Mr. Tingle-Tangle!" shouted Ryan, jumping up furiously. His two new bodyguards also jumped up, making all the furniture in the room shake. "That's Mr. Tingle-Tangle to you," said Sonia angrily. Growled Bert with fury. Ryan was very pleased with his bruisers. The poor scientist looked very scared, which was just what he wanted. "What do you want anyway?" "We are having some problems in the laboratory," said Penelope. "Just turn everything on and make as much nonsense as you can," said Ryan impatiently. "I told you I want to make lots and lots of money." We can't find Mr. Cuthbert," stammered the chief scientist. "Someone said they saw him climb into the boot of a red car." "What?" shouted Ryan. "Unacceptable! Get out and get back to work." "But what about Mr. Cuthbert?" "Work without him." "But he's the only one who really knows the recipe." "I don't care," shouted Ryan. "Just get out there and make it work." He turned to Bert and Sonia. "Go and get the security tapes for the car park and find me that car." Chapter 8. What Ryan didn't know was that Jack was listening. It's usually considered a bit rude to listen to people's private conversations. Jack knew that, and normally he would never have done it. But he thought there was something very suspicious about Ryan suddenly being in charge. Jack was probably the person who knew Mrs. Blooby better than anyone in the company. And he was sure she would have left it to Mr. Cuthbert, not to Ryan Tingle-Tangle. So even though Ryan had fired him, Jack believed it was his duty to investigate. Jack had gone to Mrs. Blooby's office to look for clues. He didn't like going through her things, but he was sure that if he looked carefully enough, he might find something suspicious. He'd only managed to look for 5 minutes when he'd heard the sound of Ryan coming to the office to have his meetings. Jack was very good at hide-and-seek. He often volunteered at the extraction centre, and he played it a lot with all of the children. He used his hide-and-seek skills to crouch behind the filing cabinets. Luckily, the office was very big, and there were 5 huge filing cabinets in the corner. And that was why he heard all of Ryan's conversation with the Bruisers. Oh no, thought Jack to himself. I'd better find that car and warn Mr. Cuthbert. Unfortunately, he was trapped. He knew now he couldn't go anywhere until Ryan left the office, so he peeked out. And this was a mistake. Because he was looking in the direction of Ryan and the Bruisers, he didn't look down. Ryan was very messy, and he never put anything away. He had taken off his coat and bag and just thrown them in the corner by the cabinet. Jack had tripped over a squishy bag of leftover muffins. It made a rustly, squelchy sort of noise. Jack was quickly hidden again. As quick as a flash, he had grabbed the squishy bag of mushed-up muffins and shoved it into his pocket. He had whipped his head back and behind the cabinet, and now he crouched, hardly daring to breathe. "What was that?" asked Ryan suspiciously. Bert and Sonia had already started to leave. They turned back towards Ryan. "What?" asked Sonia. "Huh?" asked Bert. "Didn't you hear something?" asked Ryan. "Search this office." The Bruisers began to look around, and Ryan started to get angry. "If someone is in here," he spluttered, "I want you to hurt them." Sonia brought her fist down on a coffee table, breaking it in half. "Okay, boss," she said. Jack was understandably scared. Although he couldn't see, he could hear the Bruisers moving heavily around like elephants, breaking Mrs. Bluebee's lovely furniture as if it was made of cardboard. He was worried they would crunch him up the same way, like a plastic cup. They were getting closer and closer. They had already reached the filing cabinets, and even though the cabinets were incredibly heavy, they were moving them one by one. "Nothing behind number 1, boss," said Sonia. Bert growled, his huge hairy knuckles going white as he heaved the filing cabinet out of the way. "Nothing behind number 2. There was another growl, a louder one. "Nothing behind number 3, boss." "Roar!" growled Bert. He was obviously enjoying this a lot. He shoved his hairy knuckles against the 3rd filing cabinet and heaved at its middle like he was a wrestler. Ryan was worried. He was behind number 5. He'd made himself as small as possible, but it was not good enough. As soon as they moved it, the Bruisers would find him. And they were now very, very close. "Nothing behind number 4. "Grrrr!" roared Bert. He'd got too excited. With a huge wrench, he managed to completely lift the 4th filing cabinet off the ground and throw it back down on its side, and with a huge crashing noise and a rattling of metal, all the drawers flew open and spilled paperwork everywhere. "What on earth?" shouted Ryan, who in fact looked quite scared. "Clean this up at once." This was the chance Jack had been looking for. As the 2 bodyguards bent down, and as Ryan was distracted, Jack quickly crawled out on his tummy from under the filing cabinet, and he just managed to get behind one of the big curtains by the window as Sonia finished raking together the files and went back to the search. "And nothing behind filing cabinet number 5, she said, sounding disappointed. Yes, whatever," said Ryan rudely. "Who cares? I'm bored now. Probably just a cat or something. Anyway, what a disgraceful mess. Go and find that security tape. I'm going to go to the laboratory, so join me there afterwards. People think they can get away with slacking. I'm going to go fire some." They all left the office, and Jack heaved a big sigh of relief. He very carefully opened the heavy sash window and managed to climb out and onto the soft grass outside. He hoped nobody had seen him. He'd run around to the security hut and get that security tape before the Bruisers could get there.